Yo, call me an S-Rick. I know you're D-Stank. Hey, everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Game Skates today. And only today, we are here to do something fun. And that is going to be finally ranking the Sonic Adventure 2 levels. So what I did actually is, the other day, I decided to just replay the game. And I was like, you know what? At this point, since I'm replaying it, I might as well just, record footage of the levels and just rank them, based on all of them, their playtime. I'm going to rank the main levels for all the characters. No bosses, final story stuff. So this is going to be purely what is the best of the best of Sonic Adventure 2 levels. And of course, if you enjoyed the content, make sure to subscribe to your boy, support the content, and let me know what other rankings you'd like to see. I also did do an exclusive ranking video with Chow Mix for my YouTube members where we ranked games by feel, Sonic games by feel. So make sure you become a member and go check that one out. All right, let's begin. I'm going to do these in order. I have a list of them. Let's start with City Escape. I think for me, City Escape, easy A rank. And obviously I'm doing A rank as a nod to Sonic Adventure 2 because in Sonic Adventure 2 there is no S ranking. But yeah, I think for me City Escape is, I would argue, the best level in the game. Honestly, right, there may be like one or two that I could say are closer, but I feel like City Escape is one of the best intro levels in a video game for me, at least. I feel like it's you captured Sonic so incredibly well, right? Obviously, whether it's the opening bit, whether it's you starting, on the skateboard, right, leading into you running around. There's speed segments, there's platforming segments. You've obviously, you got the iconic music playing there. I feel like City Escape is a level there's very few things or little things I would ever change about it. It's just so much fun. I love, nailing the tricks on the ramps that pull up, and you can even do tricks when you're not on the skateboard. It is just pure fun start to finish. I mean, everybody knows the theme song. Everybody knows everything about City Escape. It is one of the Sonic levels. Even obviously you got the truck chasing you. It's so fucking good, man. I cannot understand how City Escape to this day is the reason I will go back and open this game again. And I think a lot of Sonic fans would agree that not only is City Escape one of the best levels in the series, but really such a good, if I wanted to show someone why I love Sonic, I would show them City Escape. I'd be like, look at this shit, man. It's so fun. It's so cool. And even, you got the rail grinding section in the middle, right, where you can either run down the stairs or go on the rail grinds. It's so fucking good. Funny enough, the second level of Sonic Adventure 2 is Wild Canyon. Honestly, for an intro to the Knuckles levels, I really, really like Wild Canyon. I think it's sort of the more fun, exploration levels / treasure hunting levels, because I find the best treasure hunting levels are the ones that are in an open space where there's really not many places they could be, right? It's all about finding them at a decent speed. It's either in the underground area you start in, which is a pretty small area. You go to the surface, you have the area to the middle, and then you have a left and a right? And that's really it. So finding the pieces of the Master Emerald there are pretty decent. It's not like the level layout is anything crazy, but obviously you got some fire music playing Wild Canyon that I really like. And like I said, the level layout isn't too big, but it's something special. I don't think about, wanting to replay Wild Canyon. I just have fun going to it. So I would put it at the top of a B rank. All right, then the next level we have Prison Lane. This is the first Tails level of the game. And honestly, you're probably going to see a lot of the mech levels are not really my favorite. Now, I think Prison Lane of the mech levels is probably one of the less offensive ones. There's not a lot of pits where you can fall off. It's mainly just you shooting, you doing a bit of platforming. Obviously, you can go back and you have the jetpack and your upgrades, but on a first time run of the level, it's pretty much just you going forward and spamming shoot, shoot, shoot. There's nothing really special about it, but it's not bad. It's fun to just kind of dick around. There's the places with the gates where you have to shoot some of the enemies outside of the gate so that the gate opens. So overall, Prison Lane, I feel is a C rank level. Some decent music in there too. Oh, the next level, Metal Harbor. Oh, I fucking love Metal Harbor. This level is so good. You got the dun 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 dun. It's got banger music playing through it, right? You've got an incredible sense of speed, right? You have that section in the middle where you're running away, when the fighter jets are shooting at you and you're dodging them, right? You've got some great boosting. This is where you unlock the light speed dash, and that has some fun uses. You have, the climb of the tower at the end where you can do some different jumps jumps in there if you wanted to, right? You have the skateboarding segment at the end after you shoot yourself from the rocket. It's like, this level is so much fun, bro. I also put this, I would put it right at the top here in A, right with City Escape. Next up is another Sonic level, and that is Green Forest. I really like Green Forest. I think, again, it's one that, you know, you have the timer, quote unquote, on it because you're running away, and the timer really is never an issue if you know what you're doing. It's a decent level inlet, and I think it's pretty fun. You know, Green Forest music is pretty good. You know, some decent speed. I don't know, it's not a level that gives me a lot of everything. I do like the half pipes that you run down. I like the vines that swing you all around. I really like Green Forest. I feel like I would put it like top of B. It's not one that I think about like, oh man, I can't wait to get to Green Forest, but it's a fun one. You know, you have the segment at the end where the platforms are falling. You've got some decent alternate pathing. You can go on, like, you know, you can ride on the vine instead of running down sometimes, which is pretty good. But yeah, overall, it's not too special of a level. You know, there's some good, there's a lot of verticality, which is cool about it, right? Where you're climbing up the tree, then you know, you're swinging all the way on the vines. Really fun level. Pumpkin Hill. Oh shit, where would I put Pumpkin Hill? Obviously, music alone, fantastic. Atmosphere, fantastic. Again, the good thing about Pumpkin Hill is it's in an open space, so sometimes, you know, where the emeralds are, it's not too hard to find, but there's some frustrating elements of the level for sure, right? Like, there are sometimes, you know, the emerald piece can be like at the bottom at one of the floating platforms, and it can be annoying to find in some of the walls, right? There's sometimes where, like, you know, the trains that kind of move around are like sometimes really optional. Sometimes you could use them. Like, I don't know, it's not really a great, it kind of just feels like things are placed around, but like, I do like the aesthetic and theme of, I would put it like in C, right above Prison Lane, because I like it a bit more than Prison Lane. And again, the atmosphere is fantastic, but the level layout can be frustrating or easy depending on your run. Oh shit, then we get another Tails level. This is Mission Street. I like Mission Street, right? I don't think Mission Street is anything too crazy to write home about, right? Like, I think, you know, there's some decent platforming in it. Again, a lot of shooting. I do like, you know, that it looks like it goes to where, you know, Radical Highway takes place. I like the wanted posters that have this. It is pretty fun though. I like it a bit more than I do Prison Lane, just because, like, it feels like the environments are more open. You unlock the float, which I think the float is way more fun to go through this level. You know, when you have like the hover, not the float. You get the hover in the level. There's one like little section I've always never liked where you have to hit a box so you can press a button that's kind of invisible. But overall, this level it's pretty fun. Out of honestly a lot of the Tails levels, I would say this one is more fun than most because it's really rarely ever frustrating. There's some good verticality to it, some good speed. I would put it even like above Wild Canyon. I like this level quite a bit. If there's any Tails level I like to go back to, it is Mission Street. Aquatic Mine, bro. Oh, D. I mean, I don't fucking like Aquatic Mine. Obviously, the song, you know, very like, let's take a dive in Aquatic Mine. Like, the music is absolutely a vibe, which I could say for a lot of the Knuckles songs. But Aquatic Mine is so frustrating, especially depending on what layout you get. You know, like, there's times where you have to move the water balancing. You have to constantly go down to different paths, up to different paths. The swimming is just not really that fun. You know, sometimes you gotta wall climb. There's like a little hole in one area that you have to try to get up to, but you can't unless there's water in it. And it just, the level layout is just not great. Like, this is one of those levels, if you have a bad layout for the emeralds, it's one of the most frustrating experiences you can have in the game. I know for some people they really like it. And again, it's not that big of a level. Like, there is like a certain, you can pretty much find your way to a lot of the spots, but there are some hidden spots in the level that make it like annoying. So I don't, Aquatic Mine 100% carried by the music. If the music wasn't as good as it is, it would drive me way more fucking crazy. Route 101 is the next level. I'm okay with Route 101. I mean, I could even rank like Route 101 and Route 208, which are like the Tails and Rouge levels, because they're kind of in a similar thing to me where they're not awful. They're just kind of like buffer levels. Like, you know, the go-karting mechanics aren't anything too crazy about. There's nothing really going on in these levels besides you going forward, boosting, hitting some balloons. So I would put both of these in D. Like, they're not, again, they're not bad. Like, I wouldn't give them an E, like bottom of the barrel. But it's just, there's nothing about bottom that like hits home. Oh god, the next one we've got here is Hidden Base. All right, so Hidden Base, a lot more platforming when it comes to Tails, but this level definitely has the one issue I hate the most, which is bottomless pits, right? Like you touch the sand once and you're screwed, right? But I do like that the game challenges you at this point. Like it doesn't feel like you're just shooting, like you have to, you know, hold a lot so you can blow up a lot of the walls. Blowing up the walls leads to more platforming paths. Like, I don't know, like it's not really a bad level. It can be frustrating that like right when you know, touch the sand, you're gone. You know, and that's the one frustrating part about it. And that's like normal, you know, that's any quicksand level. So I like Hidden Base a decent amount. Really good fucking music too that plays. I would put it in C. I think C is a good spot for it. I like it more than Prison Lane, but I don't like it more than Pumpkin Oak. It's just because the aesthetic is kind of whatever to me. But again, I like that it feels challenging. Oh, now we have another Sonic level, Pyramid Cave. I wonder how you guys feel about Pyramid Cave. Obviously, let me know your ranking in the comments. I like Pyramid Cave a lot. I like some of the open areas. I like that it rewards you for going fast. You know, funny enough, in a Sonic game, because like, you know, there's these little stopwatches that you press and then you have to run to the door. So I like that aspect of the level. It does have a weird stop in the middle of it that I'm not a fan of, like when you have to go get the button, right? There's like a button you have to get, like grab at some point, platform with it. That part, like I could go without, but like on the regular notes of like when you don't have to grab this button around, like I feel like it's a level that's trying to challenge you, right? And really get you to go fast, do different tricks, yada yada. You know, you can go on some grind rails, you can spin dash a lot as a reward here. Like, I don't know, it does really fun stuff with the level design. Like I said, if it didn't have that section in the middle where you had to carry the button in it, I feel like it would be much better. I feel like that pauses it a little bit, but it's really good. I would also put it top of B. I think I like it. No, I don't like it more than Green Forest. I think I would put Green Forest and Pyramid Cave right under. Death Chamber! The worst level in the game, in my opinion, besides maybe one other. I hate Death Chamber. Death Chamber, first of all, music, it depends who you ask whether it's good or not. I kind of like the Death Chamber, but man, this level sucks. It is exactly what I think is the opposite of a good Knuckles levels. Like, again, the best Knuckles levels to me are the ones that are in an open environment where it feels like finding the emerald pieces always feels like it's within reach. Whereas here, like, dude, especially because of how the emerald tracker works in Sonic Adventure 2, where you can't get them out of order, like sometimes you are circling this entire area. You know, you have to go through walls sometimes to find them. You have to go like on a top path, on a bottom path. There's like a hub area in the middle of it where you can take top paths or bottom paths. Like, there's so many different areas in it to the point where it gets so frustrating and confusing if you don't have a good layout, level layout of this level. It's one of the most, like, I feel like Death Chamber is like the test bed for a lot of people. I've watched people play Sonic Adventure 2, and this level is the one that makes them go like, I'm getting angry, like I'm getting frustrated. Like, the places it can be so obscure. It can be like at the top of the side of a building. Now again, you could argue that for a lot of them, but man, there's something about the way this level is designed where finding point A to point B to point C is always a frustrating experience for me. All right, we have another Tails level here, and this is Eternal Engine. Now, Eternal Engine is like one of the final challenges of the game. I like this level. I think it's pretty okay. Again, this is a level that challenges you to not be so mindless with your shooting, because sometimes there will be like explosives on the ground where if you shoot them, you'll fall down, right? There's some like death lasers. Like, I feel like this is the one that's kind of testing you to not just be mindless with your shooting. I like that there's outdoor areas, indoor areas. I like that you get, you know, the rocket attack in this one. It uses the hover. Like, I feel like you end up using a lot of Tails' abilities here. And like I said, while it's not necessarily the most fun level, I think it can go on a little longer than I would like. You know, if you're not like really speedrunning it, doing an amazing job at it, it can go like 6 to 7 minutes long. So this is another case where a Tails level is pretty good. The music is pretty solid, and this one, you know, pretty grungy at this point. But yeah, I would put it like, I think it's a C, right? I think this one for me, I would put like, do I like it more than Hidden Base? I think so. I don't like it more than Pumpkin. I think that's a good spot for Eternal Engine. It's funny, upon replaying this game, I actually ended up liking a lot more levels than I remember, because I remember I was dreading the mech levels, but you know, as I played, I was like, okay, these are more enjoyable than I remember. Next up we have Meteor Herd. All right, so Meteor Herd, first of all, banger music that plays there. Again, another level that it really is about what layout you get of where the Master Emerald pieces are. But again, what I like about Meteor Herd is it's in an open space. So really, it's either gonna be in the bottom area, it's either gonna be in the top where a lot of the meteors are, or all the way to the top area. So it's pretty decently chanced at where you'll get your stuff. It's not as frustrating when you know like where the stuff really is in the level. You know, at some point your emerald tracker will glow, and you'll have a pretty decent idea of where to go. So I think for me, Meteor Herd, and like I said, there's times where it can drag on or go too long depending on your layout, but Meteor Herd for me, I would also put it, honestly, would I put it above a Pumpkin Hill? I would put it like, I'd put it in B. I'd put it bottom of it. You know, the more I think about it, the more I feel like Pumpkin Hill in C is... I'll put it bottom of B. Fuck it. I'll put a pumpkin at the bottom of it. I can live with that. Oh, damn. Next up, we have Crazy Gadget. It's funny, when I was a kid, I remember specifically Crazy Gadget was the reason I couldn't beat Sonic Adventure 2 for the longest time. For some reason, as a kid, I couldn't figure out that final area where, you know, like the platforms would go upside down stuff. As I grew up, I figured it out, you know, and it's been much easier for me. And this is the level where you get like the fire kick, where you can like kick bears, which I really don't know what the point of the upgrade is. This level is very silly. It's got, you know, a lot of like upside down spots and stuff, you know, parts where you're upside down. The music is really good in Crazy Gadget. I like, you know, upside down rail grinding over here. Like, I'm just scrubbing through my footage that I have on my computer, and even that last section, once you figure it out, it's not that bad. But there are times where it can be frustrating. Like, being upside down in this game is not really that satisfying. But honestly, like I said, as I grew up, I enjoyed the level a lot more than I initially did. So I would put it, it's just, the problem is it doesn't reward you for going fast too much. There aren't really a lot of liberating sections for it. And I feel like that's antithetical to a lot of what Sonic is. I feel like a good Sonic level really mixes a sense of speed with a sense of platforming, whereas this one feels like very short bursts of platforming sections, much more, you know, puzzle based. So I feel like this is the one Sonic level I would put like at the top of C. Final Rush, dude, I fucking love this level, man. I love Final Rush. I honestly would put it like right behind City Escape at the top of the line. For me, Final Rush is so much fun. It's just, yay, you like rail grinding? Here's a whole level of it. You know, you've got some banger music playing, you know, to indicate that you feel like you're at the end of the game with the rock, right? You're going, you know, down these slopes, right? You know, you can jump from rail grind to rail grind. You can like take alternate paths. You can speed up super quickly. Like, it gives you such a good sense of speed. And I feel like this is like a level that really puts the idea that Sonic is the rail grind king on this, you know, and it's such an incredibly fun level for me. And there's not much depth to it in terms of like, you know, the platforming of it, right? Because it really is a lot of, you know, get on this grind rail, but there's different grind rail. Did I say rail grinding? Grind rail, whatever. I don't know why as I've grown up I keep saying grail grinding when I'm trying to say grind railing, which is really good. But yeah, no, I think the rail grinding in this level is fantastic. It's just fun. It is a dumb fun level that I love going to. There's these little portals that you end up going to with different directions that are really cool. It's just, it's so fun. I love playing this level, man. All right, now we've got the Team Dark levels that we're gonna rank here. So first level, funny enough, the game starts with Iron Gate as the Eggman level, and you're gonna see in Team Dark there's a lot of Eggman levels. Iron Gate, again, I would put it like right alongside Prison Lane, where it's just kind of like you're indoors, you're just spamming shoot a lot, there's nothing really going on. I will say that it's a bit more complex than Prison Lane, you know, because it's supposed to be the hard mode, so there's a lot more things to shoot, you know. There's this cool section where like the alarms are going off and you're going up like a giant machine, and it's a little, you know, it's not too long. It's about, it hovers in like the 3.5 minute range. It's fun. Again, I would put it right in the same lane as Prison Lane, which you're gonna see a lot lot of these levels mirror the hero story levels. And then the next level over here that we get in Team Deck is Dry Lagoon. I enjoy Dry Lagoon. Again, it has the same thing with Wild Canyon. It's actually, people don't realize it's a direct mirror of Wild Canyon, where instead of like the air section in the middle that puts you up, you instead go down this turtle. Like you kill some enemies and then this turtle goes in the water. You go under it to a different section. So I give it props for having the multiple section. Rouge's music is fucking fantastic. I love it. And again, there's another level where, because it's not too large, where the emeralds are is never too complicated or frustrating. It's pretty open. It's pretty liberating. I really like it. I would put Dry Lagoon around the B range. I kind of like it a bit more than Wild Canyon just because of that cute little turtle. It's fun and I love her song. All right, next level. Guess what? Another Eggman mech level. This is Sand Ocean. This is again a mirror of Tails' what was the Tails level that Hidden Base? And this one, I don't know, man. I feel like, again, it probably is around the same range of where what's called Hidden Base is, where, like, again, you can fall in the quicksand. I do like the nighttime aesthetic here, and I like a bit more of the platforming challenge. Again, it follows the same philosophy as it were. It's a lot more platformer heavy here, and I think at this point, correct me if I'm wrong, unless it's an upgrade, you don't have the hover yet, so that's where the frustration can be as opposed to Tails. I feel like with Tails, when you're by Hidden Base, you have the hover, whereas with Eggman you don't. But again, I could be wrong and I might have missed the upgrade, but I don't think I did. But regardless, I would say, you know, Sand Ocean, it's around the same area. I would put it like, I like Hidden Base a bit more, but you know, Sand Ocean right around that area. I do like the nighttime aesthetic. Radical Highway, my beloved, all the way up here. Now here's the thing, where would I put Radical Highway? Listen, here's the thing about Radical Highway. I love this level. I think it's a fantastic intro for Shadow. Obviously, you know, you all know the Radical Highway theme is fucking awesome. You literally start this level going down, is it the Golden Gate Bridge or whatever, but you're sliding down that. You have some great platforming. You have those cool sections where, you know, you're swinging, you're jumping up. Like, this again is one of those levels where there isn't a big set piece thing like City Escape in it. It's mainly really platforming with Shadow the Hedgehog, and like, he feels cool. There's some really fucking cool loop-de-loops. I don't know, I just feel like Radical Highway is just a really well-designed platforming level where you have a mix of, you know, action, you know, chaining enemies. You have a mix of, you know, some verticality with the level going higher up, right? You've got some decent speed sections with it. I would put it like above Metal Harbor, right here, not above Final Rush or City Escape, but I think right here as an A rank level. I love Radical Highway. Oh, now we have Headquarters. This is Rouge's equivalent of the Death Chamber level, and I'm not gonna lie to you, this version is way better than Death Chamber. So her version of it, for some reason, is way more streamlined, where like a lot of the doors are just open. There's not many timers. Things are a bit more closer. It's not as big. It feels like things are a bit more close range, and I don't know why they didn't just have, you know, Knuckles' version like this. It's shocking how much better Headquarters is. Maybe, you know, I got a good Emerald layout, but I just think, like, because it's more open-ended, there's a bit of a like spy aspect to it, where these like robots are trying to detect you and find you, but it never feels like it's too much of an issue. But like I said, it's a bit smaller. You have more open spaces where you can just, you know, run by them, and it feels overall easier than Death Chamber. It's still not a great level. Like, I would still put it, you know, in the C territory. I'd probably put it, would I put it above Prison Lane? Probably not. I think it's a C tier level. It's a much bigger improvement than Death Chamber, but it's also like not a level I ever think about going back to. Guys, did you believe me if I told you there was another Eggman level? Yeah, Lost Colony. Again, this one kind of faces the same issue as the what's called as Prison Lane and Iron Gate, where they're both like sort of indoor military base looking things. I know this one's not in a military base, and I do like, you know, some of the shooting sections. I feel like this one is much more of a shooting range. You get the hover actually here as I'm looking at my footage, and you know, the hover is great. There's some sections where you have to hover downwards, but again, this one just kind of feels like this is one of those levels where it feels like you just kind of go through the motions and you're kind of playing the level aimlessly. There's nothing really going on. I would also put it, you know, besides the music being great, I'd put it in maybe like a C tier, maybe under Prison Lane, you know, just around that range. Yeah, it's nothing too crazy. But guys, what if I told you there was another Eggman level? That's right, everybody. We have over here Weapons Bed, which is essentially an Eggman version of Metal Harbor, which honestly, I will say his version of it is pretty fun. It's a very straightforward level where you're just kind of shooting some enemies. You've got some, yeah, it just kind of literally shoot and go for it. But I will say, like, being, you know, in the middle of the day and running through some of the areas is pretty fun here as the mech. Like I said, it's a very short level. I think this level is about like 2.5 minutes. It's a super short level, but it's fun. I mean, I would say of the shooting, you know, run and gun sections that they have in the game, and there's a lot of them, I would say it's more decent than a lot of the others, because at least it doesn't overstay its welcome, even if it's not the most exciting level in the game. So I'd put Weapons Bed at like, I'd put it maybe in like right above it. I would put it under Eternal Engine, over Hidden Base in the C area. Damn, bro, this C area plagued with these fucking levels. Actually, you know what? I'm being too mean. I think Weapons Bed is fun and decent enough to be at the bottom of B. I feel like it is a very straightforward, fun level that you don't really struggle with. Oh, next up we have Security Hall. This is Rouge's level, and some banger music playing over on this level over here. I'm okay with Security Hall. It's under a timer, which already makes levels like this that are, you know, meant for you to take your time and explore, a little frustrating. Some of the level, you know, some of the where the emeralds here, actually, they're not emerald pieces, just straight up mine, chaos emeralds over here are pretty okay. It's not too big of a level, so most of the you know, the emeralds are fairly close to each other, but it's not really like, it's not anything crazy. I think if anything, the timer is what makes it unique, because you really gotta, you know, just quickly work hard. And I say, like, at least that's a difference between a lot of the other ones. I like the cash that's just flowing on, but like in terms of level layout and design, it's kind of like uninteresting, right? So it's nothing too bad. And like I said, because it goes by fairly quick because of the timer, I would put it like, I'd put it maybe under Prison Lane, over Lost Colony, because at least it's a cool idea, right? God damn, bro, there are so few shadow levels, bro. And the next one we have is White Jungle, which actually mirrors Green Forest. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I feel like a Green Jungle and White Forest are really similar to me. Like, obviously, I know they have differences in their design and everything, right? In terms of like where you go, you know, what kind of platforming you do. But I feel like White Jungle for Shadow has a lot more speed-based sections, right? Using the light speed dash on this level is really fucking fun. And overall, I think the vibe of it is a little bit crazier and cooler than Sonic's Green Forest. So I'm gonna put White Jungle for Shadow probably at the bottom of A, like above Green Forest. I think Green Forest is great for Sonic, but there's something about White Jungle. Maybe it's just the aesthetic of it and how much more frantic it feels for Shadow and B. Maybe because I have so few Shadow levels to enjoy. I like the area where like you grab onto these vines and they all push you to different spots. I don't know. It feels a bit more chaotic for me. I really, really like White Jungle. Oh shit. Next up we have another Shadow level actually, and that is Sky Rail, bro. I really like Skyrail. One, I just like the aesthetic of it. It's like the sky area where, you know, you're going on, you know, you're rail grinding, which is really fun throughout it. You know, you get the good balancing. It's got a lot of verticality. It's a level that you climb through a lot. There is some like frustration sometimes with the verticality, and sometimes, you know, if you don't balance correctly, you go slow on the rail grinds. It's, I don't know, it is not as satisfying as Final Rush. There's those like platforms that you just kind of constantly bounce on that are, you know, kind of whatever, but it's a very one-dimensional level in that sense, right? Like it's a level where, like, you know, there's some platforming, some rail grinding. It doesn't do anything too crazy. It doesn't really have like that memorable moment in it, right? It's just kind of like a fun level you play there. It's pretty short. Like, I think I died a few times and I beat it in like 2 minutes. It feels like they just put together things that are fun and cool, but that's really it. I would put Skyrail like under Sonic's Green Forest, over Pyramid Cave, though. I think it's a really fun level, and there's not too much stopping your platforming. Guys, the actual worst fucking level in this game is Mad Space. I cannot stand Mad Space, bro. This is like, you play it and you're like, oh man, I love Mario Galaxy, right? And then it's just, the anti-gravity is so frustrating. The level layout is just ass, you know. Getting to different like spots you have to is ass, because you're also stuck to the planet because of the anti-gravity. You have to use like boost pads, like not boost pads, bounce pad to get to different spots. The level layout is confusing. The camera fucks you up here. It's so bad. This is the level that I spent the most time with and frustrates me the most. You know, no amount of you know, sexy Rouge the Bat music can save this level for me. I genuinely cannot stand playing Mad Space, and I really hope if one day they remake this game that they fix this level up entirely. You know, don't scrap it, because you shouldn't be scrapping levels when you're making stuff like this, but man, it's just, there's something so frustrating about how this level is laid out in design. I do not like it one bit. All right, next up we have an Eggman level, but I will say this is probably my favorite mech level in the game. So this one uses a fun kind of like anti-grav system where like it feels like you're on the moon, where you're doing these really high jumps, and I think it's just really fucking fun. I like doing the high jumps in this level. It feels satisfying, right? You know, there's some fun shooting. Obviously all the shooting is the same in these levels, but I don't know, there's something about like the hover that's like, oh, you're finally doing something sort of creative with the fact that we're on this mech. Can it go on a little long? Yes, right? But I do think, you know, the anti-grav stuff they do is really satisfying, and it's not really a frustrating level. It's one that kind of goes on for a bit longer than it needs. Like I think on my run I was there for about like 8 minutes. Obviously this is me just casually playing the level, probably dying a few times, but I don't know, it's fun, it's simple. I would say it's one of my more favorable mech levels in the game. I'd probably put it, I like the vibe of Mission Street a bit more, so I'm gonna put it right under Mission Street. But yeah, it's a really good B rank level for me. Of all the mech levels, it's pretty high up there. Now, where Sonic has Final Rush, Shadow has Final Chase. Final Chase is nowhere near as satisfying as Final Rush. With one, you're going down these incredibly fun rail grinding sections, and here you have these like these like gravity circles that you're running by. But the problem with these is you can't run straight by them. It, like, when you're running, it forces you into a loop, which those parts could just be kind of annoying, and it just kind of slows down the pacing of the level. They're weirdly sticky with their gravity. They can stop you, you know, from really advancing. I don't know, like, they're just nowhere near as satisfying as Final Rush. Now, it's not a bad level per se. You can get through it, you know, fairly, you know, in like 4 or 5 minutes. It's a pretty lengthy level, but I don't know, these anti-grav things, I always wish you could just go walk straight up them. You know, I feel like that would have made them better, as opposed to the whole thing where you're running around them and you're really getting disoriented, and if you jump sometimes in the wrong way, you just kind of fall. But it does have some rail grinding here. But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of like how this level is laid out, and so for me, it's gonna, of all the speed levels, it's probably, I would put it even behind. Would I put it behind Crazy? I'd put it behind Crazy Gadget, like right in C. It's still fun. Yeah, I still think it's fun than most of the mech levels that we've got in this C section. But yeah, I would put it in that Crazy Gadget tier, where like it just has some frustrating aspects of it. And last but not least, we have Cannon's Koi. This is the sort of amalgamation of everything level in the game. It goes on extremely long, you can go up to, you know, 10 plus minutes depending on you know, how good you are. But yeah, you start as Tails, going through some indoor sections, then you play as Eggman, going through some more indoor platforming sections, then you play as Rouge, right, and you're doing some platforming. Then you also have to play as Knuckles, and you're going underwater. I like the idea here of this being the big ultimate level where you're using everything you want, but god damn, bro, it feels like it just drags on. Like, you know, the last character you get to play as is Sonic, and his section is pretty good, you know, everything considered. You know, I like there's a little moment at the end where you're falling down sand, which is pretty fun. But I don't know, man, it just kind of like, I've never really been a fan of this level. Like I said, I don't like the water sections. I don't know. It's just one that doesn't stand out to me too much. You guys can let me know if you die here. It's one of the most like frustrating experiences they've had, or you get a game over. But yeah, I think for me, Cannon Score is like top of D. I still like it a bit more than Aquatic Mine, just because the vibe, you know, of endgame and using all the characters is really good. But yeah, I just don't like some of the Knuckles water sections here, and I don't like how long it goes on, and having to do a Tails shootout section and an Eggman one at the same time, just it's a lot, bro. But yeah, that's overall my ranking of the Sonic Adventure 2 levels. Honestly, as I replayed the game, I enjoyed a lot more levels than I used to. I feel like I used to get a lot more frustrated at the game. I feel like now that I replay it more and more, I tend to enjoy the levels a lot more. And obviously, yeah, my top 5 in order would be like White Jungle, Metal Harbor, Radical Highway, Final Rush, and City Escape. Very clear that the best levels in the game are the Sonic, you know, ones. But I will say, you know, like there are some of the Emerald finding levels I enjoyed, and the mech levels. I feel like if they did remake them one day, if you fixed up the Emerald finding, had a better track, had better level layouts, and with Tails you made the mech like faster, more, you know, chaotic, more missiles, you know, more objectives, I feel like you could have something really special with those gameplay styles, and you can keep them as they are. So I'm overall pretty happy with my thoughts on these. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I love you all. Thank you all so much for watching. You're the best. And of course, I will see you all next time. Peace out.